So glad to be back with family. Oh, the love in the room right before and currently, but joyful, active love running around. Oh, just so thankful for each one of you here. Thinking about this week and our celebration of freedom and continuing that celebration for the month of July. Remembering that spirit is freedom. Not only the essence of, not only that quality, but that very essence. Knowing that I am freedom, you are freedom. We are all free. Looking forward today to Reverend Diana's talk. Knowing that each one of us hears exactly what we need for that next step, that next growth. Not only do we hear it, we act on it. Through the coming week and the coming month and months. Becoming what is our true essence. And so I just let go. I let go knowing that a prayer spoken is a prayer answered. And together we affirm that by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Cherie. Beautiful opening. So good morning and welcome. If you are new with us here today, either in the room or online, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson, and I'm the pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community, and we teach universal principles and practical spirituality. So I pray that as you listen this morning, you'll hear something that leads you to the guidance and wisdom of your own mystic heart, where all of your answers lie. We move into deeper connection and higher vibration this morning as we begin with musical prayer.
Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside whatever came before. Let your own intuition start to guide you to heaven's door. Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside whatever came before. Let your own intuition start to guide you to heaven's door. To guide you to heaven's door. To guide you to heaven's door.
So for the month of July, our chant is We Are One.
O lover of my soul and keeper of my spirit, nothing can can separate us. We are one. Nothing can separate us. We are one.
So we ground ourselves more deeply in unity, taking a few deep breaths. Knowing that the breath connects us to one another and to all that is. Allowing all that's come before this moment to drop away. And centering awareness in this place and time. Here and now, we enter fully into the divine presence. Now take a moment to expand your awareness to those around you. Each one a spark of light in the global web of consciousness. And then spiraling out from this space to include family and friends wherever they are. Neighbors. All of our city, our county, our state, our country, the world. Connected by spirit, we celebrate our oneness with all of humanity, with all of creation. We see all the animals, plants, soil, water and air, the planets and the stars and the galaxies. Each one a glittering jewel in Indra's net, reflecting each and every other gem, and shining with the same divine light that we are. One spirit, one light, one life. Expressing in infinite variety. Grounded in the truth of who and whose we are, and knowing that our consciousness of unity uplifts the planet and her inhabitants, we are helping to move human evolution into its next yet to be. Our theme for this month is interdependence. And with the recent celebration of our nation's independence from Great Britain, we bring our awareness to the true meaning of that word, independence. What does it mean to be truly independent in our lives? We tend to view the words independence and freedom as somewhat synonymous. But are they? Independence has been defined as freedom from the control, influence, support, aid, or the like of others. Can we really be free to thrive without the support or aid of others? Or might it be that it is precisely the support and aid of others that allows us the freedom to express our unique gift in the world? And who are these others on whom we rely? Is it just other people, or might it be more than that? Consider the trees and other plants that convert the carbon dioxide that we exhale into oxygen that we can breathe. And in the process, create food for us that we can eat. Contemplate the water cycle, acting non-stop to circulate fresh water that we can drink. Reflect on the animals who provide nourishment for some of us and companionship for many. And Mother Earth herself, who provides a home for us all. In her book, The Soul of Money, Lynn Twist tells of her work with the Hunger Project and the birth of the Pachamama Alliance. Her team was invited to Ecuador by the Achuar, an indigenous tribe of the Amazon rainforest. In a dream, the Achuar were called to invite 12 people with global voice, with open hearts, people who know the rainforest is critical to the future of life, people who know that indigenous people have wisdom that's vital for sustainability of the human family, people who would respect the ways of the shaman. When they arrived, this was what the Achuar told them. If you've come to help us, even though we invited you here, don't waste your time. But if you know your liberation is bound up with ours, then let's work together. Our liberation is bound up with theirs, and with the salvation of all the earth and her inhabitants. That is what unity means. That is the true meaning of oneness. What we do to each other, to the earth, to any individualized expression of spirit, we do to ourselves. The Achuar people may be described as a primitive culture, but as nature mystic Thomas Berry reminds us, at present, there is a devastating relationship between the human community and the earth community. That humans, with all their intelligence, should be so destructive is something of an anomaly. Yet the disruption that is being effected throughout the planet is occurring through human agency. A remedy needs to be found. He goes on to say, the destruction is the result of scientific technologies, whereby the resources of Earth are being exploited for human benefit, without regard for the consequences on the life systems of the planet. A mystique of use as our primary relationship with the planet has been developed and is being deployed with ruthlessness beyond understanding. This represents a great contrast with the earliest phase of human development, when Earth and the solar system with its planets and the stars beyond were considered to be manifestations of sacred, even divine, powers. In this period, the human project was validated by ritual celebration of those great moments of transition in the ever-renewing cycle, when the numinous world was experienced as especially present to the human community. The entire universe was experienced as a cosmic liturgy. There was the daily sequence when at dawn and at sunset, the numinous presence was more available to human perception. Then there was the yearly cycle, the annual cycle of death and rebirth occurred as the sun declined to its nadir at the winter solstice, then was reborn in the springtime, when a renewal of life came forth with dramatic manifestations. This was an ever-renewing seasonal sequence. What was born, died. What died was born again. If there was a never-ending tendency toward death, there was also the inevitable life renewal. He concludes, what is proposed here as a necessary development is to once again establish an awareness of the unity of human affairs with the functioning of the universe and earth. This unity finds expression in the threefold cosmological cycles: the daily, the seasonal, and the planetary. There is the daily cycle that passes from sunrise to sunset, the dawn and dusk bringing the community out of the mystical period of awakening consciousness, when the dreams of the preceding night are narrated for the guidance that they might offer to the community. Then there is birth, maturity, and death in the seasonal cycle of each living form, reflected in the winter solstice, the springtime renewal, the summertime fullness, the autumnal harvest. Finally, there is the planetary cycle of Earth's orbit around the sun. While no society had its full expression of these various moments of grace in which the human communed with the cosmos, they each had their intimacy with the larger community of life. Now we are called to our second exodus, our return to the universe as vibrant cosmic liturgy.
Oneness with Spirit and with all of creation is our native state. We can never be separate from God. The Creator is omnipresent, fully present everywhere at all times. This is what the psalmist meant by, "If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there." There is no spot where God is not, but often that is not our human experience. We tend to judge by appearances. We assume that our five senses give us an accurate description of ultimate reality. It may look like we are disconnected from others. We may feel separate from Spirit, but that is Maya, the illusion of our misperception. What we call our mind is really our use of universal intelligence, divine mind. We may entertain the notion that we are separate from Spirit, from others, and our creative imagination makes it feel true. But as soon as we remember the moment we contemplate our unity with everything and with everyone, the illusion evaporates. The question is not, where did God go? But where did I go? What can I do to maintain my awareness of the divine presence? Let us make reconnection part of our spiritual practice, our liturgy, our worship, holding all of creation as sacred, everyone as holy, and ourselves as an integral part of that interconnected wholeness. As we share our 3 minutes of silent communion this morning, I invite you to share this prayer. Great Spirit, let me not be fooled by appearances. Remind me constantly of your presence, your love, your spirit within everyone I meet. May I see the earth and all of her children, the rocks, waters, trees, animals, as your handiwork, as displays of divine love, as proof that you are with me always. And in this time of contemplation, reveal to me how I can most powerfully reconnect when I forget. Divine Creator, thank you for this time of blessed communion with you and with this, our beloved community. Thank you for your grace that allows me to feel your presence deep within my soul and to see your face in everyone I meet. Thank you for creating us in such a way that we need one another to fulfill our lives and yours. The poet John Donne wrote, "No man is an island entire of itself. Each of us is part of something greater, a family, a community, a planet, a universe. You and I and all of creation make up the manifest body of God. Every creature is essential to the full expression of spirit." Returning now to Reverend Diana's Taizé meditation, we deeply feel our connection with one another, with spirit, and with all that is, knowing that now, tomorrow, and every day, we get to celebrate a happy Interdependence Day.
Another term for interdependence is interbeing. My beingness is determined by how I show up for you. By myself, I have no beingness. Or if I do, it has no context for meaning. We need one another to find our life's meaning, purpose, and significance. Like it or not, we are interdependent. Living as one with each other and with all of creation takes focus and attention. It requires that we maintain awareness of our tendency to slip into our habitual thought forms. These thought forms are rooted in the dream of separation. It compels us to regular spiritual practice, to meditation, where we experience our oneness with Spirit and her creation, to prayer, where we invite Spirit to remind us when we drift out of the story of unity, and to mindful action in the world. As we come to accept our inseparability from one another and from our planet and its resources, as we come to know our oneness with all of creation, we begin to make different choices. More and more often, before taking action, we consider the effects of our actions on ourselves, on others, not just our families and friends and neighbors and acquaintances, but also other people elsewhere in the world. People we may never meet. What effect do my choices have on the animals, on the forests, on the oceans, on the environment, and so on future generations? When each of us is walking through life, consciously choosing to do no harm, we will have created peace on earth.
Time is now, the moment's clear, the last shall be the first. each one stands on sacred ground. May peace prevail on earth. So long in dreams we have foreseen the path for which we thirst. But now we claim what was our goal. May peace prevail on earth. A world of love we now claim, and each one of us will light that flame. May peace prevail on earth, now and always prevail on earth. In each one of us prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth, now and always prevail on earth. In each one of us prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth.
The lyric is so powerful. For each one stands on sacred ground. The time is now, the moment's clear. The last shall be the first. For each one stands on sacred ground. May peace prevail on earth. So long in dreams we have foreseen the path for which we thirst. But now we claim what was our goal. May peace prevail on earth. A world of love we all claim, and each one of us will light that flame. May peace prevail on earth, now and always prevail on earth. In each one of us prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth. Peace within each one of us must begin within the heart and mind of every human. Lao Tzu reminds us that if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. And if there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. Only when I am at peace within my own heart can I show up as a peaceful presence in the world. So I offer as our closing prayer and affirmation this morning the Declaration of Interdependence, written by the David Suzuki Foundation. It begins, "This we know. We are the earth through the plants and animals that nourish us. We are the rains and the oceans that flow through our veins. We are the breath of the forests of the land and the plants of the sea. We are human animals related to all other life as descendants of the firstborn cell. We share these kin a common history. We share with these kin a common history, written in our genes. We share a common present filled with uncertainty. And we share a common future as yet untold. We humans are but one of 30 million species weaving the thin layer of life enveloping the world. The stability of communities of living things depends upon this diversity. Linked in that web, we are interconnected, using, cleansing, sharing, and replenishing the fundamental elements of life. Our home, planet Earth, is finite. All life shares its resources and the energy from the sun, and therefore has limits to growth. For the first time, we have touched those limits. When we compromise the air, the water, the soil, and the variety of life, we steal from the endless future to serve the fleeting present. This we believe. Humans have become so numerous and our tools so powerful that we have driven fellow creatures to extinction, dammed the great rivers, torn down ancient forests, poisoned the earth, rain and wind, and ripped holes in the sky. Our science has brought pain as well as joy. Our comfort is paid for by the suffering of millions. We are learning from our mistakes. We are mourning our vanished kin. And we now build a new politics of hope. We respect and uphold the absolute need for clean air, water, and soil. We see that economic activities that benefit the few while shrinking the inheritance of many are wrong. And since environmental degradation erodes biological capital forever, full ecological and social cost must enter all equations of development. We are one brief generation in the long march of time. The future is not ours to erase. So where knowledge is limited, we will remember all those who will walk after us and err on the side of caution. This we resolve. All this that we know and believe must now become the foundation of the way we live. At this turning point in our relationship with Earth, we work for an evolution from dominance to partnership, from fragmentation to connection, and from insecurity to interdependence. I give thanks for this blessed earth and all that she offers us. I give thanks for each one here and for our time together today in celebration not only of independence but of our interdependence. I trust and know that our time together has set a powerful healing in motion, has contributed to the evolution of a peaceful, healthy world where each and all of us thrive. And so, at peace within myself, I release this prayer, knowing that it has done its work. A prayer spoken and deeply felt is a prayer answered. And so it is. Amen. Aho. Returning our awareness to the space, to our body, maybe wiggling fingers if needed. So look around at who's sharing in celebration this morning. Wish each one a happy Interdependence Day. At this time, we offer the opportunity for you to share of your financial good in support of the work that we're doing in the world, if you choose to do that. And if you're joining us online, you can go to mysticheart.org and you'll find our donate button and a mailing address. As we offer this time for sacred practice of circulation, I offer you a short video called Interdependence and Impermanence from the Buddhist tradition.
The concept of interdependence is fundamental to understanding the nature of existence. This means that everything we experience, our thoughts, emotions, actions, and the world around us, is influenced by a complex web of interconnected causes and conditions. It reminds us that our actions have consequences for ourselves, others, and the world around us. By cultivating awareness of interdependence, we can develop greater compassion, empathy, and responsibility towards all living beings in the environment. Impermanence, or anicca in Pali, is another key concept. It emphasizes the transient and ever-changing nature of existence, teaching that all things in the universe undergo change, decay, and eventual dissolution. Impermanence is evident in the cycle of birth, aging, illness, and death that characterizes all living beings. It is also reflected in the impermanent nature of our thoughts, emotions, and experiences, which arise and pass away moment by moment. Understanding impermanence helps us develop calmness and accept life's inevitable changes and challenges. It encourages us to let go of attachments and to find peace and contentment in the present moment. The concepts of interdependence and impermanence remind us of existence's interconnected and transient nature. They encourage us to live mindfully, with awareness and compassion, and to cultivate qualities such as gratitude, kindness, and resilience in our journey towards greater understanding and enlightenment.
Isn't that beautiful? I love the artwork. Yes, it's on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. There's always the links for everything we use. Once Chris gets it online tonight, when you go into the script, the links are all in there. So I say thank you for these gifts as they're given through your hands and hearts, gifts of spirit that bless your lives and then flow freely into the life of this community so that they might be grown and expanded and then given back. So I say thank you to each one, and so it is. So we're going to sing you on your way either to the rest of your day or to a cup of something warm, so that you might come back to join us in conscious conversation at 10:30.
May your soul always find what it's looking for. May your heart always lead the way. May you live in peace and harmony, and may love always fill your day. May your path be strewn with happiness. May success find you everywhere. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer.
God bless you. Have a beautiful Sunday if you're going on your way. Otherwise, come on back for conversation.
Oh, coming together. Knowing that each one here is celebrating in joyful abundance. of love and chatter and energy. Just knowing that each one of us is here to support one another. Knowing today and this week and this month, celebrating freedom and our interdependence. Loving that meditative service and knowing that this one too unfolds beautifully and wonderfully and with love. Knowing that each one of us hears and knows and takes action on that next step of our growth, that next yet to be of our unfoldment. So in that celebration, in that knowing, in that love, I simply release, knowing it's already so. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Usually say welcome or welcome back, but I don't think there's any new in. Oh, wait a minute. Welcome or welcome back. I'm sorry. I just gave you a hug and okay, never mind. I'm going to read what it says. Welcome or welcome back. Welcome to those joining us online this morning. My name is Reverend Diana Johnson, pastor and spiritual director at Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community, and we practice universal practical spirituality. We teach universal principles and open our doors in welcome. So make yourself at home. We're going to begin the second half, our conscious conversation, with some more upbeat musical prayer. So here we go.
Welcome to the Mystic Heart. Join the celebration. Lift your voice and sing your part. Make this affirmation. Spirit made us family with loving hearts to share. Together we are joyfully practicing the possible through prayer. And everything's possible through prayer. Mystic Heart.
You can always feel free to get up and move if you want to. I can't help it.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Let us make a joyful sound, here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound, here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound, say hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
All right, this month we are doing a more upbeat chant called One People. Not quite as upbeat as the last one, but that's all right. One people living on one planet, joining in one family. We are all one, that's all there is. One people living on one planet, joining in one family. We are all one. Let me hear you a little louder. One people living on one planet, joining in one family. We are all one. One people living on one planet, joining in one family. those voices. Let's keep that energy going and growing as we enter into sacred practice together, creating a love-soaked world. We enter into our vision this morning, finding ourselves in a world where all humans are living from their deepest wisdom, from their most generous and loving natures, thoughtful of the impact of their thoughts, words, and actions, and knowing that those thoughts, words, and actions not only impact us, but our neighbors and our communities, and ultimately the world. This is a world without greed, where there's absolute abundance in just simply having enough, where all needs are met gracefully and easily, where nutritious food and clean, pure water, sweet air are readily available to all people, all beings, no matter where you live or which family you're born into. Where warm, comfortable, and affordable housing is a given. Where all beings feel a sense of safety, belonging, and contribution. Where mental and physical health, education, and healthy relationships are ensured by social systems grounded in integrity, honesty, and wholeness. Feel and know with me now a world where all beings work and play at whatever feeds the soul and are well compensated for their service. All are valued and respected for their inherent goodness. Authenticity and vulnerability are not only welcomed, but celebrated. The peace we've cultivated within ourselves shows up as a world free of hatred, violence, or indifference. The love that we're here to share is given freely to whomever our hearts are called to. We've moved beyond all lines of separation. We live as one human family, caring for one beautiful planet and all that she contains and sustains. By the power of our collective intention, our powerful imagining, and inspired action, transformation is happening now. We are creating a world that works for all beings. We are not caught up in appearances. Like the prophet of old, we are doing a good work and cannot come down. We will not come down. It is through our hands, our feet, our hearts, and our voices that positive change is happening, and we align our actions with our vision, living these changes in our own lives with our families, our friends, and our neighbors. This community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support, belonging, and a sense of family. It redefines church as a place of self-discovery, authenticity, kindness, radical inclusion, and love. We're guided to the truth that lies in every single heart. By the creative power of our deep knowing, our clear vision, and inspired action, this prayer is acted upon here and now. A prayer spoken and deeply felt is a prayer answered. And so in full acceptance and expectation of its graceful unfolding, and with the deepest humility and soul-felt gratitude, we release our word to the one that gets it done, and so it is. Amen. Aho. Just feel such a shift in the energy and the space and in myself every time. I invite you to just take that to your morning practice. You know, a daily version is not a bad thing. Take it, make it your own word. So, the theme this month is interconnection, if you haven't picked that up yet. The topic of conversation this morning has been Happy Interdependence Day. Okay? So if you were here for Taizé this morning, you'll know that we debunked the fiction that we are completely independent beings. We're not separate. We are part of an integrated wholeness that includes all of creation. We are one little piece. Humans are one little piece in all of that. We cannot thrive without the support of Mother Earth and all of her inhabitants. They cannot thrive without our conscious contribution to life. Note, conscious contribution to life. Our liberation, our individual well-being, for all of us is bound up with the wholeness of all beings. That's just how it works. We talked about how so-called primitive societies held the natural world as sacred, as a manifestation of the divine. How early humans celebrated their oneness with nature, with spirit and all of life, with ritual ceremonies at the different times of year and the seasons, solstices, equinoxes, and at dawn and at dusk. These were cyclical celebrations that were part of cultures. And we talked about how many humans now see the earth as something separate from which we can extract resources at will. Yeah, unfortunate viewpoint, I think. That's my view. We explored the concept of interbeing, the idea that our life only has true meaning within the context of relationship with one another, with the planet, with all of her inhabitants. So it is through the relationship that we find our meaning and our purpose. We learn who we are. And then we read David Suzuki Foundation's Declaration of Interdependence, shared that as prayer and affirmation. It's a call to build a new way of life on the foundation of our essential oneness with all of creation. So that's where we've been. So my first question would be, what do you think? How are independence and interdependence related?
Connection, what's it called, synergy?
Synergy?
Yeah.
Say more?
I just think that we're like all connected as one. I mean, like, I was just like, the other day, I was driving down the road, and remember the Matrix and how everything was connected, and I didn't really get it when I watched it. But the other day, as I'm driving down the road, and I'm seeing how people are like braking and going forward and changing and
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my gosh, this is synergy. Like, we all get it.
Right.
We all are so connected and related.
Right.
And that we know what, and then when you're off emotionally, which I know that the hard way, I got hit with a car going, in my door going 50 miles an hour, and that was a day that I should not have been driving my car because I wasn't connecting and relating. I was in desperation and sadness and fear.
Yeah.
But when you're not that like everything's, it's just things start showing up. The universe starts moving forward. Your life starts moving forward. Everything, like all the oppression just is back there. That was then, and this is now. I'm in the now, and I'm moving forward again. And
Okay.
it's all beautiful, and there's clarity and truth and peace and love and kindness. And then you realize you've learned so much, but you have so much more to learn.
So that process, the now part, is that what you're relating to independence? Like the choice to be
Present. Practicing presence.
Okay. I was looking for that relationship. Okay, good. Thank you. Chris?
I think in that interdependence, our independence is how we relate to life and
Okay.
one another. So we have that free will, we have that agency within that interdependence.
Okay.
We have that independent beingness that we want within the interdependence.
Okay. So it's our self-reflective choice-making, self-making those choices within the truth, which is that we're all connected, no matter what.
See
Okay.
what she said.
Yeah, well, that's just what you said. I just said it in different words.
Cyberspace. Cyberspace. All of it.
Cyberspace? Huh?
Cyberspace.
Cyberspace?
Yep, we're all connected.
Oh,
out
okay.
there.
Yeah,
The cyber- all of it.
all right. Yes, sure.
I'm connecting to what everyone's saying here, and what
Mhm.
came to my mind is the idea of will. And so independence is that individual will
Mm-hmm.
that we use. And relating the interdependence to the capital W will, that is Spirit's will that we're all a part of. So
Yeah.
just relating that way to that idea.
All right, thank you. Just elaborating a moment on Spirit's will, I don't believe that any of us here believes that there's a long-bearded, robed figure in the sky that wants it a certain way, and that's why it's happening that way.
Right.
It's more that there is a framework of spiritual principle at work, and we sort of refer to that sometimes as Spirit's will. It's just the way things work.
The quality of spirit, the
Right.
essence of spirit, that is
Yeah.
that will that we draw on
Right.
as our own individual.
So both the loving and the lawful presence that we draw. Thank you. Chris?
I was thinking about the butterfly effect.
Uh-huh.
Everything that happens anywhere in the universe affects everything.
Right.
And so the effect that it has on quote-unquote other beings would be our interdependence.
Mhm.
But how we show up and how we choose to use that, how we either make a contribution or a withdrawal, if you will, you know.
Right.
That's our independence.
Making a withdrawal. That's funny. Yes, thank you. Yes, Marcia.
I was sort of thinking that a strong sense of independence is probably necessary to have a healthy interdependence, if you will, because there's a tendency to be too dependent sometimes. I know
Right.
for myself, I was married 30 years and it ended rather abruptly, and I discovered that I am wired to share experiences. So I'm not the guy that goes out there, you know, fighting lions by myself, or
Right.
just going on, even just, I don't know, I don't, it's like I'm wired to share things. I don't know
Right.
how else to do it.
Right, yes.
So, you know, I don't know that that's terribly healthy, but so my point is, you know, maybe being able to enjoy experiences by myself, independence, you know, allows me to not be, I don't know, dependent. I don't feel like I was, but apparently I was, because
Right.
I'm just not able to really just enjoy experiences unless
Right.
you know, it's like
Yeah.
I'm Canadian. I'm like the geese. I mate for life. So so I think a healthy,
funny.
you know, sense of independence is probably a good thing while
Right.
sharing yourself.
Yeah.
I thought of a mantra for you, I mate for life itself.
There you go.
Yes, yes,
There
yes.
you go.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Yes.
So we do depend on others for our basic needs. I mean, other people grow most of the food, or all of the food, depending on who we are, that we consume. Other people build the automobile that we drove to get here, or the bus that we rode on. Other people made the shoes that we wear, if we wear shoes. And I do sometimes to get to the car and back. For me, it's once those needs are met, then I become free to express myself more fully. So that's just another thing to tack in with everything that's been said already. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs would say that those basic needs have to be met first, and those needs are met through other beings. And then I become more free to express. As long as the needs aren't met, I'm too distracted by meeting the needs. So that's another piece. April?
To me, I kind of think independence is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're all alone living in the woods in a cave, you still needed the earth to provide you with a cave. You still need water, you still need food. All
Yep.
those things come from the spirit that is inherently in those elements that we need to be in a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
And there really isn't a time when you put a human being in a place of isolation that they don't lose it. We start talking to ourselves, we
Right.
start answering ourselves, we start arguing with ourselves. That is because it is literally written in our DNA to be in connection with other human beings or animals. You talk to animals, you talk,
Right.
I speak to the water, I speak to my plants, I
My
speak,
plants,
I
yeah.
speak, you know, and we'll start talking to everything because we are communicative, connected beings. So it's just an illusion that we can just, you want a good example of that. Look at a child who thinks they're at a place where they're ready to be independent and watch them argue with you that they don't need any help.
Right.
And then okay, well, let me know when you're done with that, because clearly,
Right.
clearly no matter how hard you try, you can't cook Thanksgiving dinner. It's just,
Right.
you know. My 5-year-old daughter, she thinks she can do everything.
Lay eggs.
Yes, she could lay
She can
eggs.
lay eggs.
She's a chicken if she decides to be, and that's perfectly fine, but there's no possible way that tiny thing can accomplish all the things
Right.
her mind tells her she can, unless someone intervenes and helps at some point
Right.
and provides some kind of support.
Gives her a chicken.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
April, she needs
Yes.
collaboration.
Yes.
It's
We all need
collaboration. David?
Well, it's kind of like Tom Hanks with his basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Well said.
Wilson, the volleyball, soccer, whatever kind of ball it was.
I
Yeah.
think it was a woman.
If somebody's not there, you make it up, even if it's a ball that you're talking to and drawing a face on, right? Lucinda?
Well, I'm also seeing it as a journey.
Mm-hmm.
So you start out thinking you're independent, you don't need anybody for anything, and then that journey into realizing that you very much do,
Mm-hmm.
and that you are there and at your happiest when you're serving others,
Mm-hmm.
just and allowing them to serve you.
Right.
It's a circle.
Yeah. So, how do our behaviors affect others? Something to share, April?
My initial thought was, how do they not?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I mean, even one thing about human beings is we cannot help but alter things,
Mhm.
right? So even when we go out into nature, there are human signs.
Yes.
Whether we've moved the rocks into a pattern that nature doesn't make, or we've done we've done something.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's something completely ridiculous, like throw all our trash in the fire pit, or you know, we're not thinking. But imagine if, like, even my attitude, how that affects the world
Right.
around me.
Yeah.
If I went to work every day as literally the funk in the room and just spread that out all over the place and gave, you know, even just your energy when you walk into the
Yes.
room can alter things. But
Yowza.
if I'm going into a space and how I conduct, how I behave is going to affect the future, it's altered the past, and you know,
Right.
there's just no way you can't.
So there's like this energetic ripple going in every direction. And we
I'm
don't
in a
know
bad
how,
mood.
A ripple or
Yeah.
a wake.
or awake.
Surf's up.
Surf's up.
I would say I'm self-aware enough to know that my energy signature is powerful.
Right.
And that, especially me, when I walk into a room, if I'm angry, there isn't a person
I'm
in
leaving.
the room who doesn't, there isn't a person in the room who doesn't pick up on that.
Right.
If I'm depressed and I, you know,
Yeah.
and what, everybody else knows it.
Right.
Because I'm such an extrovert, I cannot help but alter the space around me.
Right.
Even just being aware of what am I spreading.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's important.
Awareness
That's
is
self-awareness.
important.
It
So
is. It's
important.
really important. So then, what is our responsibility to other beings that we share this planet with? I know that word is not popular usually, responsibility.
To inspire.
Okay, so to inspire other beings?
To love.
Lucinda?
To watch my own stuff when I walk into a room.
Right, as April was saying, watch my own stuff. when I walk into a room. Self-awareness. Chris?
Well, from the spiritual standpoint, there's really only one of us here, and so I think for me, our responsibility is to see the spirit in that other person, and
Right.
Realize that if I do anything negative toward them, I'm really hurting myself as well.
Right.
So,
So for our own benefit and the benefit of other beings and the entire planet, at the very least, do no harm when you move into a space. At the very least. If you can't spread the love and the joy this particular day, fine. It's okay. We're not always in that mood and that space.
And that's not a good time to create.
It's not a good time to create, but at very least, do no harm.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheryl?
Well, on the days I walk, most every other day, I always, I don't care who they are, they're a stranger or my friend, walking friend, I always say good morning to them.
Mm-hmm.
They may be in a deep thought or
Right.
something. There's this one gentleman who has a wooden cane, he walks every morning. He looks straight ahead and I'll say good morning, and he cheers up and says good morning back.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
always
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
I like
Yeah.
to throw love bombs at people when I'm
All
in
right.
the store.
Yeah.
Because it's a tough time right now, obviously, for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And people, I've noticed, just don't look at each other much anymore. So sometimes I'll go out of my way and just smile, hi,
exactly.
Yeah.
and it's like, all of a sudden their face lights up.
Right.
Or they've run in the other direction, but
Right. Either way, it's not your business how,
But
how
it
that
is
lands.
cool. I mean, and if
Yeah.
it's genuine. I mean, if
Right.
you find it in your heart to genuinely, for that moment
Right.
in
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
feel that legit, it's really amazing.
Yeah, it is.
What you get back.
It is.
Perhaps they may walk away and they'll think about that
That's
later.
true, huh?
Something
Right.
will come to them
Yeah, you
about
don't
that
know.
situation.
You don't know where it'll land. Okay, April and then Chris.
I happen to deeply like the word responsibility.
Yay, thank you.
Anyone who knows me knows I pride myself on being responsible.
Mhm.
You give me something and it's done, right? But when it comes to the world as a whole, I think that goes so much deeper because we have the ultimate power to create and destroy as a human being. Like
Right.
we were talking about in Teze, our sciences, and that can either be used for this or it can be used to destroy everything. And I think in that is acting with integrity, but it also has to be deeply guided with connection and love. Because if you're acting in a place of love, it's hard to do harm.
Right, that's true.
And if you're not coming from a place of love and you're coming from a place of fear especially, it's very easy to do harm.
Yeah.
And I think that responsibility in the world as a whole for me just kind of equals me serving all life, seeing all life equally, and conducting myself as if
Mhm.
everything and I are connected and we're affecting each other.
Right.
And I have to honor my part in that relationship.
Yeah. So all last month, our topic was returning to love over and over again.
Mhm.
And until we're grounded in that love, it's really hard to be that responsible and go to that deep place. Chris?
To build on Marcia's love bomb idea.
Mm-hmm.
It really occurs to me that all of us are so self-absorbed
Mm-hmm.
that having that little wake-up call, if you will, with a love bomb is what is helpful to wake us up out of our ruminations and our own self-absorption. Because
Yeah.
we walk around quite a bit
Right.
self-absorbed.
Yeah. Yeah, we do as human beings.
Yeah, you know how we sometimes have road rage or we're just off or we're angry or we're hurt, and so I did this sticky note and it says do love rants. So go around and I love everything you look at, everything you touch. I love. And the more you do that, the more you get into that space of
Yeah.
love, you know. But if you're like, you, blah, 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 when you're driving down
Right.
the road, you know, it's
Yeah.
like your whole day just spirals into
Right.
that, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to practice like driving in LA,
Uh-huh.
woo-wee. And
Yeah.
I had road rage. And then when I was doing landmark education, they were talking about all of that and how do you hold your body when you are, and how do you communicate with people that are in other cars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking about that, and then because before I'd be, F you, a-hole, you know. And then I was just like, I'd go, bless you, asshole. and then I was able to upgrade the conversation to,
Right.
bless you. And then like not having my shoulders up here to
Yeah.
be able to do this.
Right.
And it was so much more peaceful
Yeah.
to just
Bless you, sacred one.
bless you, sacred, beautiful, God bless you, be
Right.
safe,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and just send love to everybody on the highway and pray that
Yeah.
we are all safe. Every people in the cars, all the animals that cross the road,
Right.
you know, it just breaks my heart to see any of them get hurt like that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, love
All right.
rants.
Love
We
rants. I like love rants. David?
So Pamela, you,
Pamela Lynn.
huh?
Pamela
You
Lynn.
can call me Pammy if you want.
That works. So do you stick that note to your steering wheel when you're going down the road?
Yeah, no, the one I need to stick to my steering wheel is go slow.
And we appreciate
Everything in
that.
life, everything.
Right.
Like I did this, I went to Sacred Ground where the Indians over there, where the old growth oaks and stuff, and I had the most amazing healing experience because I finally honed it in. I kept trying to do everything else out there, but it's taken me a long time to be able to get here, you know?
Yeah.
And literally, she's talking about connected to nature and stuff. Like I had this amazing, I went barefooted, I was walking through the sand and the mud and all that. And Spirit kept saying, get in the water and lay on the hot rocks. Get in the water and lay on the hot rocks. And I kept doing it because I'm trying to heal my own body. Or I am healing my own body. Upgraded that conversation from trying to
Thank you.
I'm learning.
Yeah. Good for you.
And anyway, so I had the most magnificent, there was these like yellow-tailed butterflies. And when I was a kid, I used to talk to birds. I could do every bird call. And it was interesting, the connection that I had as a child. And then I lost it for a long time, but then this is what I was looking for. This is why I came back here.
Yeah.
And because I always lived in the woods with the animals. And anyway, first I started seeing those yellowtails, and then the birds kept talking to me, and I was able to mimic a bunch of them, but there was this one I could not do it, and I couldn't figure it out, and it kept squawking at me and kept following me, and I was like, I can't do that one right now. Okay, I'm open to the possibility of doing that one. First I said, I'll try, and then I went, no, I'm open to the possibility, because that's a lower,
Right.
I'll try is just,
That's-
I'm trying.
lets
But
you off the
being
hook.
open to a possibility opens me up to
Right.
it actually happening.
Yeah.
And it's all this synchronicity and all this healing, and you know how you're in that space and you just have this crazy laughter because you're in heaven. You are in heaven. You are being healed. You are connected to Mother Earth. You are the universe. You are the air, the sky, the water, the Mother Earth. You are the trees. You are the animals, and that's why I like it. Kids so. It tears me up when they cut down the big oaks and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I pray for their protection too, you know, and especially the sacred place that I found. I'm praying that it stays safe, you know. Anyway, so
Thank you. Beautiful healing happening. Nice.
amazing. Yeah. Heal or heal thyself.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm in that mode, yeah.
Yeah. So I quoted something from Lynn Twist's book, The Soul of Money, in the Taizé, and I'm going to re-quote it right now and then ask you, what the heck does this mean to you? Okay? So it's when the Achuar spokesperson said to a group of 12 people that they had invited in, their lands were being threatened and they were inviting in people, Westerners and others, to help stop this process that was going on. And the Achuar leader said, if you've come to help us, even though we invited you here, don't waste your time.
Say
What
that
it-
again?
If you've come to help us, even though we've invited you here, don't waste your time.
Got it.
Why would he say that? What does he mean by that?
Because if you're coming to do something externally, but you're not feeling it within it, that part
Okay.
of it's your effort and belief and understanding that you want to work in cooperation with them for everybody, not just
Okay.
to come and help, like, I'll go help you. It's
Right.
outside of yourself. You have to feel
Yeah.
it within.
Where does it put, oh, I'll go ahead and then I'll ask a question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the spokesperson was addressing an inherent inequality, you know, oh, they need my help.
Right.
Because I'm up here and their
Right.
skill level is here, and that's not what it was.
Yeah.
They were realizing that the collaboration was what was important.
Right. Okay, so that's another piece of it. Cherie, and then I'll come over here.
I think there's also in I'm helping you that there's a separation
Yes.
from what they're looking at, that they
Right.
have nothing to do with
Right,
the issue,
yeah,
that they're not part of the issue, that they're outside of the issue.
right,
And when we can't take responsibility for being part of it, then
yeah, right.
we can't work together.
Okay, thank you. Lucinda?
To me, it's a level of engagement.
Okay,
If I'm gonna go help someone, I'll help right now and then I'm out of there.
okay,
But if I'm really getting engaged in what's going on, it's an ongoing commitment. Also, if you're partnering with someone, you're equal
mm-hmm,
and there are no outsiders.
okay, good. April?
I'd say that too, if you say, I've come to help you, then you've come with a preconceived idea
Right.
about how the thing should be done.
Right.
And you're not
Yeah.
really open to any other suggestion, because you already got
Right,
how this should be done. I can see it better than you, I already know what we should do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that doesn't really leave a lot of room for collaboration.
Right.
It leaves a lot of room for my way, this is you're wrong, and the
Yeah.
whole friction thing.
yeah, thank you. David?
And I remember a book by Ram Dass that was titled, How May I Help You? So not you deciding what they need for help.
Right.
But asking, how can I assist that,
Yeah.
what you're trying to manifest or do?
Cherie?
What comes to my mind too is not even really having that realization of your part in just being there. So for example, I just got back from Roatan, and there was a lot of help even just by the people that we were with.
Right.
And building houses and educating children and those things. But even just, we had a lot of discussion about the reef and what was happening with the reef and things like that. And I'm just thinking, well, how much chlorine are we putting in these pools that are at these resorts
Right.
that are probably evaporating, and chlorine is death
Yeah.
for most living things. And,
Right.
so it's just like the fact that you're there, there's
Right.
also that.
Yeah,
And when you talk about do no harm,
right. I'm
You know,
participating in this harmful thing.
Yeah.
Just by being here.
yes.
Yes. Also, okay, one more and.
Well, you just have to wake up before you can fix. You have to
Yeah.
understand that you're creating this situation
Right.
downstream before you can be of help.
Right, it's true. It's, hi Roland.
Rocking and rolling. huh?
Yeah, there he goes. Just by saying, we'll help you, not only is there separation and inequality and all of that, but it shows a lack of real awareness that I'm not really helping you, I'm helping me. I'm helping all of us. I'm here to be part of a solution. Let's work together. It's not just a separation, but it is really stepping out of that responsible place that says, no, wait a minute. I'm here because this matters to the whole. This matters to the whole.
So get out of the driver's seat.
Right. And their response was something like that. You know, if you're here because you realize that by helping us or coming to solution here, you're also helping yourself, because we're all really one family, then come on and we'll accept your help.
It's not just money to help, it's being together, collaborating,
Right.
working together to
Yes.
build things up.
Yes,
Without that, you won't know that feeling.
right.
Being in the
Yeah.
midst of helping.
Yeah, we
We
know
need
that
that.
even here, right?
Yeah,
When we
exactly.
step up and we bring food, or we help do dishes, or we help with a yard sale, or we help clean the building, or whatever it is, we feel a part of the community.
Right.
We feel that relationship. Chris and then April.
So what they were asking for was people that had a global voice. People
Right.
that, because the Pachamama tribe, or the Achuar tribe, they have the skill. They know how to tend the forest. They know
Right.
how to steward
Yeah.
the rainforest.
It's their home.
We don't know that.
Right.
But what they don't have is the global voice. They don't have
Yeah.
the camera and the microphone to get the message out.
Right.
And that's, so they were looking for people that said, yeah, we don't know how to run the rainforest, but we can get your message out there.
Right. Yeah. April?
I would say one of the most important things about helping
Mhm.
is being invited, being
Yes.
asked.
Yeah.
You know what happens when you go, here, let me help you, to somebody who's trying to heal, or one of us painting the, what's this, when we get an injury or whatnot, and we're trying. You see me in a sling doing everything left-handed, and go ahead and say, here, let me help you, and see what kind of reaction you might get.
I wouldn't
from
do
me,
that.
Right?
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
leave me
do
be. Right? But I think one of the most important things that we got to remember is a lot of times we're trying to help where help is not needed or
Yeah.
asked for. We go and we see this part on the earth and we go, oh, this looks a little dry, or this looks a little, let me help the earth. And
Right.
we're not respecting the fact that the earth can heal itself, just leave it be.
Leave it alone.
Right.
A
leave
lot
it
of
alone.
times, we're
Yeah.
trying to help something or fix something, and we don't have the full scope of understanding.
Yeah.
And so we actually cause harm way down the line, the
Right.
7-generation rule, Think
Yeah.
about how this affects 7 generations down the line.
Right.
Before you do anything. Oh,
Yeah.
we'll help the fish, we'll make a dam. Oh no, our grandchildren have no water.
Yeah.
Or fish.
Unless the
Right.
earth specifically asks you to help it, just
Right.
leave it alone.
Yeah, and it goes down to the simplest things. I get the weirdest looks when I go to the farmer's market or to the store, because I have a basket full of reused bags, like produce bags. And I'm the bag lady. I wash and hang and re-roll and wash, till they literally are in shreds. But I know, you see them all over my house. But every time I go to the store and I reach for something plastic, I have that awareness that 7 generations down, we're going to have an ocean with islands of plastic so big that nothing can live in it. So there's an awareness, even the little things that we do without thinking, on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, I do get weird looks. So prepare yourself if you decide to start washing your bags. People will look at you differently.
I was listening to an NPR program the other day, and it was in a different context, but the guy said the motto I live by is, and he was quoting somebody, I'm not sure, was be a good ancestor.
Yeah, be a good ancestor. Good advice. The funniest thing about these bags, as a last word on bags, is that I didn't take any of them from the store. I just collect them everywhere I go, because they're everywhere. People bring them in here, I get bags. I don't actually go get the bags. I just take them and reuse them instead of throwing them away.
This is something
it's pretty
beautiful
easy.
to do with bags. I've gone to these hot springs. They're called Hobo Hot Springs up in 178 down by Bakersfield, and I went to get into this hot spring with a bunch of Asian women, and it was so hot, I screamed and I jumped out and I called them loco. And they're Asian. They all giggled. They all laughed and giggled. And then, so you know how you can really communicate whether they're,
Right.
you know, we speak the same language. We just get it with each
Yeah.
other. And they were pointing to the lower tubs. Well, the lower tubs were cooler. And then they point to the river. They want me to get in the river. So it took me 5.5 hours, and I was in a ton of pain because I was a full-time massage therapist for 18 years. And nature heals me.
Right.
And so I kept doing that, and it took 5.5 hours. And what they did is, like, what happens is if you try to build a wall there's all this bacteria and it can harm people. What the Asian ladies did is they would bring a whole bunch of plastic bags and fill them with sand and build a wall. They would clean it first, and then they would build a wall, and then they would have the best place. And I tell you what, in 5.5 hours, I had 0 pain in my body. It brings you back to heaven.
Yeah.
You know, it brings you back to heaven. So that was a good use of bags.
Positive use if you're
And
going to
they
have
took-
bags.
And they just kept using them over and over and over.
All right.
Because they get knocked out. They clean
Yeah.
them all up and put the sand back and.
Yep. They'll last an amazingly long time.
Yeah.
Okay, one more, and then I'm going
I
to use
think-
another quote here.
I think what struck me in something that you read was the notion of primitive cultures.
Right. Yes.
That they don't know anything. We call them primitive, and, you know, we try to fix them. And there's no, they're not lesser, they're
Right.
probably equal, not probably, they're equal, but even wiser, and because they've lived with and by the land.
Right.
But we chose to call that primitive.
What does the word primitive actually mean?
Grounded.
Should we
Natural.
Google it?
Back to your
Technology.
Simple.
Primitive.
Very simple.
What's primal mean?
First, original.
Okay, first, original. So it's the same root. Primitive really is referring to original or first. It doesn't have, from its roots, it doesn't have the connotations that we give it as being lesser than somehow. But that is how we use it, and often what we mean by it.
It's more like back to basics.
Right. Back to basics.
Primary school, you learn the basics.
Right.
Primary, okay, primal.
Primary, primal, primitive, same
Primary,
roots.
primal,
Mhm.
okay.
So I think it all got screwed up when Christopher Columbus came over.
Nina the Pinta and the Santa
That's-
Maria.
Yeah, when he came over and never actually landed here? Yeah. Kind of a mess. So in his book, The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible, Charles Eisenstein describes the principles of interbeing, which we compared in These to interdependence, interbeing. And these are the things that he says about interbeing. That my being partakes of your being and that of all beings. This goes beyond interdependency. Our very existence is relational. That therefore what we do to another, we literally do to ourselves. That's the first point he makes. The second is that each of us has a unique and necessary gift to give the world. That the purpose of life is to express our gifts. That's what we're here for, in his view. The third thing that he says is that every act is significant and has an effect on the cosmos. Every act. Then that we are fundamentally unseparate from each other, from all beings and from the universe. That every person we encounter and every experience we have mirrors something in ourselves. He says that humanity is meant to join fully the tribe of all life on earth, offering our uniquely human gifts toward the well-being and development of the whole. And finally, that purpose, consciousness, and intelligence are innate properties of matter and the universe, not just innate properties of humanity. Purpose, consciousness, and intelligence are innate properties of matter and of the universe. what is that? That's not what I asked next, but I'm going to ask now. What does that mean, that purpose, consciousness, and intelligence are innate properties of matter? Chris?
It means that even what we would call inanimate matter, like a rock or a mountain or a lake, is alive with the same sentience that we have.
Okay.
Different expression, different degree maybe, but it still partakes of that one's life of spirit.
Okay, thank you. Michael?
That means that everything is imbued with universal intelligence.
Okay.
It's like what you think about or speak about, you bring about, and it's a subconscious. You got to be consciously aware of the subconscious mind, because it's like a computer. It's been programmed,
Right.
and you catch that, and then once you say that was then and this is now, I've learned that from Marna.
Yeah.
Hey, Marna. But the thing is, it's like you manifest things. Things show up.
Right.
According to the way that you think, the way that you feel, and so I'm learning to like think about the thought, because the thought causes a feeling, and then think about, is that thought true, yes or no?
Right.
Awareness.
Yeah.
And then it's just that creates the synergy, because what you truly feel and what you truly desire, and whether you get into joy or you get into fear, you get into anger, you get into, just, I don't know.
Yeah. It's all creative energy.
Yeah.
It's all creative.
And you got to be really careful
You do.
of what you bring
Yeah.
about.
It's true. It's true. Renee and then April.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the quote you just said, and it reminded me of my best friend in DC. She's a entomologist, and she works for the government and does handles she works for the Forest Service, and they deal with invasive species. And so they if there's a certain insect that's killing a certain species of tree, they have to test for a few years and introduce a predator for that insect.
Right.
And it's this really long process. And
Yeah.
so we have a lot of talks about bugs and nature, and she's just super inspiring, but she's also a Buddhist, and so she doesn't kill any bugs. So she if she has a spider in her house, she picks it up and lets it out. She's not afraid of bugs, which is amazing, because I always have been. And so it's funny, because talking to her, I used to, as soon as I saw a bug, I'd freak out if it was in my house, and I'd immediately kill it. That was just my jerk reaction. And so recently I've been going, okay, that bug's just going along the sideboard. I'm just gonna let it do what it's doing, so it's weird. If it's actually crawling on me, I might okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I don't wanna portray myself as a saint right now, but I think I've been becoming more at peace with bugs, just having her as a friend.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because what it's done is she's kind of opened up the world of science to me, that everything is just we value our lives, and we're humans, and it's important, our society, our communities, but they also have a society and a community.
Right.
And so I've never thought about that until the past few years, oh, there's a whole world where they're equally as important as us, because I think as humans, we've kind of said we're at the top.
Right.
And then they're all, but I'm okay, they're all equally important, and they have all this stuff going on that we're not aware of in their own little, societies and governments. And I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'm not sure the
Government.
but,
Beetle government.
I guess it's just learning to see that what's going on with them is just as important as what's going on with me, and not being so quick to just squash them. And I don't know. I know I'm just using bugs as an analogy, but it's sort of thinking of that intelligence and purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think they have feelings too.
April and then Marsh.
In my tradition, all life is sacred, all life is equal, and the same And then if you want to get into vibration and electricity and energy and that kind of stuff, every single thing on this planet gives off a vibration, has a frequency. In just that, we are equal.
Right.
Human beings are electrical conductors. We give off a frequency and an energy, and that tree outside is doing the exact same thing. So whatever put that system in place ran equally. There are a few systems that are different. We have our language, they have theirs. You want to get into some creepy stuff, look into the mycelia and the fungus and how they communicate and send signals between trees. And all the trees are aware of each other. One tree has a disease or gets injured, the other trees will actually send sugars and proteins to that tree because they understand the importance of the health of the entire forest.
And they do it through the mycelium,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
interdependence.
And if all things are equal, then all things already know what they need to survive, to live, to thrive, and how to be in this relationship with each other. If all things carry the same signature of life that I do, there is absolutely zero reason that I would ever put myself above the fish that I fish, the animals that we take, the plants. And if you can really see yourself as being just an equal part, then it will really change how you can live. Nothing makes me more proud than we're watching someone make a candle or some kind of thing, survival thing, and the lady walked up, me and my Lana were watching it, and the lady walked up and started to put a spile into the pine tree. And that's, you know, what they do to get the sap. And the minute she hit that tree with that spile, Ilana goes, "Mom, does she have permission?"
That's a good question.
From the tree.
Right.
Because that's how we teach them to see the world. You don't just take. You ask, and if it's given, you can receive and you give back. And that would really, if we could just expand on that. Primitive ways are probably the best, most connected ways for us to live.
The originating ways, the ways that work, the way that things do work at Marsh, and then
I was just gonna follow up, I'm so sorry, I'm terrible with names.
Renee.
Oh, I'm new,
Thank
so
you.
it's okay.
So is he.
On what she said, about the bugs. And essentially, anybody who kind of follows light workers and such, it's really just a matter of knowledge, isn't it? She's gained knowledge about them, and so consequently, she doesn't fear them anymore. And the fear thing is like huge with us. I'll be there Wednesday.
Great. All right, Mila?
What's been coming to mind for me is kind of the idea of the water, like the watersheds and the waterways, like how we live on Lake Shasta, and there's a huge, like when we were living down in LA, we often talk about how we're not aware of how much water is gifted to us from all these other areas, and there's not a lot of like water surrounding that area, yet it uses so much. And it's funny how you can live in a place and not really know, like be very aware of the land. When I was growing up in Hawaii, it took me until college to learn about the old systems, which all the land was divided in from like basically around a watershed. So it started at the top of the mountain, and the whole community would be a connection from the top of the mountain down to the ocean, and all the communities along that would be like one, ruled by like one chief. And so the whole village was, there were little villages along the way, but everybody knew that they had a role and a purpose in that entire ecosystem. So it was all connected, and it was kind of a revelation to think about how we divide land when it comes to, we just say, okay, this land is good, but we don't think about like how it's connected all the way down, and instead like how that original way of being with the land was responsibility, that we are all connected because this water flows through, and we're responsible for all of the fishing at the bottom and the crops grown at the top, and it was really like kind of a different way of thinking. And I see it here, and I'm like, you see the people talking about drought and like how all the farming is using up so much water, and I was like, what if we could think about it in a different way, that we are all connected and how
Right.
we can steward that together.
Yeah. Would certainly be a more unifying and a more effective way to view water. David?
Well, I've been having a dilemma lately because I try to respect other forms of life as having a right to be here, it seems like. But when I got up and my kitchen was covered in these sugar ants that are barely big enough to see, but when there's like 10,000 of them, they seem pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I'm, I've been trying different things, but finally I gave up and I looked botanical sprays.
Yeah.
And it was so wild, the feeling I had. I was like,
right.
Well, this is kind of like just an asteroid storm hitting the planet, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Where do you cut that?
Right. And I think that honoring all life as equal is one thing. You honor the fish, it doesn't mean you don't catch the fish, it doesn't mean you don't eat the fish.
I honor its life as I take it
Honor
into
its life. Yeah.
And I also feed the ants.
Right.
And it drives my wife crazy, but we
Uh-huh.
have a deal. It keeps them out of my kitchen and out of our home.
Right.
It keeps them where I want them to be, and I keep feeding them, and the kids, they say they're mom's ants.
There you go. So feed the ants outside your house.
They just
And don't
wanna
leave
live.
sugar anywhere.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be
I
leaving
don't
sugar
touch
anywhere.
sugar.
I don't know the name of this movie, but if
Only when somebody
anybody,
stuffs it in my mouth, isn't it?
you made me think of a movie, and I remember there was a black lady in there, and there was a bunch of ants in her kitchen, and people were freaking out. She didn't freak out. She just made like these little balls of food, and all the way out the door, and then eventually the ants just went back outside. So that would be something to play with when they come back. Play with it like it's a game. Have fun with it.
You know, I'm a gardener, and so there are bugs that I appreciate having in my garden, and there are bugs that I don't appreciate having in my garden. And while I honor the life of the squash beetle as a squash beetle, when I find one, I honor it, and then I squash it. And I literally do bless it, and I wish it onto its next highest and best form. I suggest that it comes back as a butterfly or a honeybee. You'd think I was nuts if you watched me garden, but it doesn't mean I don't honor the creatures, but I also don't just automatically save every one of them, because I'm growing the food for my family and friends' consumption, and if it takes over the plant, I'm not going to have any squash. If you never killed the fish when you caught the fish, it wouldn't serve that purpose of feeding.
I shouldn't be fishing anyway.
Right, if
my house filled up with wasps, we'd have a problem.
Right.
That's
Send them to my house where they can eat the
my
tomato
space at
larvae.
that point.
All right. One more, and then I'm going to wrap us up because I'm.
Roses are not to eat.
Huh?
Roses are not to eat, but the snails sure like them.
Yeah,
So I'm
snails
always
love
moving
them.
them. Going, oh no, moving. I'm getting 5 or 6 of them. I just move them someplace
Put them
else.
in a container, put a lid on it, bring them to me, and my chickens will eat them.
Oh, okay.
There you
All
go.
right. There we go.
Part of the food chain.
That's
There
the plant relocation program.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, the bug relocation.
Snail
That's what I meant.
relocation program.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know where I could find an anteater?
I don't. All right, so I'm going to just move right on ahead to a closing prayer this morning, unless there's something else that absolutely you just have to share before we're done. And it's okay if that's true. All right, so please join me in this knowing that there is only one life taking so many forms. That's the action of the divine source pouring itself out of all of creation. Everything and every person and every plant, every rock, every animal is an expression of spirit. Every lake, stream, river, pond, or ditch is filled with sacred, holy water. All of it sacred, all of it interconnected, even the ants and the squash beetles and the snails. We ourselves are part of that oneness, that intricate web of consciousness expressing in form. As we identify with our divine nature, with the spirit within us, we see that same essence in each and every other being. With the gift of spiritual sight, we see God in every face, in every situation, in all of creation. This prayer establishes us firmly in a consciousness of unity with all life, maintaining that awareness throughout each day. May we be ever mindful that what we do to other people, to the earth, to any of her inhabitants, we do to ourselves. May we feel the pain when a species succumbs to extinction. May we feel the joy when a farmer's soil is regenerated by sustainable practices. May we evolve into better and better co-creation partners for one another and for our planet. May we fully honor this divine gift of life that Spirit has entrusted us with. I give thanks for the earth and for the many ways she sustains us. I give thanks for this morning's celebration and the many ways it informs and uplifts us. I give thanks for the presence of each one here, for the dedication that each one brings to this community and to their own spiritual path. I give thanks for the feast that follows our conversation and for the many, many, many hands that it took to bring that feast to our table. With profound gratitude, I release this prayer, knowing that a prayer spoken and deeply felt is a prayer answered. So I let it go and I let God do its thing, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Amen.
Aho. Sate, Satu, excuse me, Ashe. Which one are we missing? There's a lot of them. A lot of ways to say it's done. It's done. Adios. There it is. All right. So as we prepare to transition to our next phase of our celebration today, which is our lunch together, we offer an opportunity for you to give of your financial good to the community here in support of the work that we're doing. And as we do this today, a beautiful video that I found called Sing the Water Song. Enjoy. You can dance if you feel so moved. This might not be the normal approach.
Granddaughter, the water can hear you. The water has memory.
Nibi,
Nibi,
Wabo,
Wabo,
Endayan,
Endayan.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Mismi, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
Water is the life's blood of our mother, the earth. Water is the lifeblood of our own body.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misqui, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
To continue to pass on the knowledge that needs to be given unto the other generations. You are the keeper of the water.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misqui, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
make the change in this life condition that we're in, that great-grandchildren will stand up to this truth of what life is about and to live it in such an honorable way, the way ancestors came to this earth.
Libi wabo endayan aki miskwi libi wabo heya 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 hey heya 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 ho.
Each day when the sun rises, no matter how bad the day before might have been, there's a new chance for your hopes and dreams. And I say, Chimigwech, thank you for singing the water song.
Nibi wabo endayan aki miskwi nibi wabo heya 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 hey heya 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 ho.
So thankful. So thankful for your gifts, and so thankful for the gifts of Mother Earth and what we're given every day. Knowing that as your gifts flow into our community, they also circulate and flow out, doing good work in our community and good work in the world. So with a grateful heart, I simply release, knowing it's already so. And together we say, so it is.
So it is.
Amen. And please stand for our closing song.
Chris started something with that foyer and the credenza
I
thing.
love saying that. Fancy.
All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take the past and set it free and share this.